Okay, so today I'm going to be telling the story of that one time my parents robbed me. I would have given a less vague idea of this robbery, but it's kind of straight to it, and once I get into it, you will most likely know where this is headed. Anyway, um, let's get started, okay? So, let's see. So 2015, I graduated high school, and later in the fall, I started at the University of Oregon and did 1 year of college there, finishing in like the summer of 2016. Okay, so I'm about 19 years old, and I basically, I'm like, where do I go from here? So basically, I'm 19 years old. I left my car at home and I went to college, mainly due to my parents, like, just didn't want me to bring the car. They thought it would have been a waste of money. They thought it just wasn't worth having it there. So they said that they would like take care of the car and store it for me while I was at university. So I had a Volkswagen Beetle. It was at home, chilling like the entire year I was in school. And while I was in school, I basically finally started to like get into the things I actually like wanted to do with myself, or like just like find my own people, find my own interests. In high school, I didn't drink, I didn't smoke, I didn't basically have any physical situations going on with the opposite sex. I went to a couple sporting events, a couple dances. I was in Key Club, I was in leadership, and I played soccer, did my homework, rinse, slept, repeat, like the same old, nothing crazy at all. Nothing illegal, okay? So when I go to college, I start to drink. Drinking was like the number one thing I did. I drank anytime I could, as much as I could, whenever, wherever. I basically, by the end of the year, was like asking everybody, like, is this wet event or dry event? Wet event or dry event? Like, whatever, right? Okay. So one thing I always knew that I wanted to do after I graduated high school and like wasn't living at home, not necessarily not living at home, but like was an adult and not like going to school and doing home, like more of like just like not a child. I wanted to smoke weed, and I was fine with waiting, and none of my friends smoked weed, like none of my close friends smoked weed. So I just was like, one day it'll happen for me, or like whatever, it'll work out. So I went to college. I met a bunch of frat guys who either sold edibles, smoked weed, or both, right? Okay. So I eventually started, when I first started getting into marijuana, I was doing edibles in college, okay? That's the point of that. I bought them from one of my friend's fraternity brothers, and they were like the strongest edibles I've ever had. Not one edible has ever topped it than the ones I got from the University of Oregon, okay? So I come home from school for the summer 2016. I'm on the verge of getting kicked out and basically just waiting to hear back from the school because I just stopped going to class. My grades were tanking, and I just realized I didn't want to be there for any reason that I had said I wanted to be there, or if at all. I didn't even know fully what was going on. I just knew I did not like where I was and what I was doing. I did like not being at home with my parents though, and being able to like think for myself. Okay, so I'm dating my then boyfriend at the time. He was my first boyfriend I've ever had. So we're dating. He is like a ex pothead, okay? So we started dating, and he like stopped smoking weed, and I low-key was like, And he like would go back and forth between, like, he would tell me he stopped smoking for his mom, but then I found out he was also telling his frat brothers that like, and his other friends that like I was the reason why he stopped smoking weed. And in my head, I'm sitting there going like, yo, like, I want to smoke weed, bro. I don't give a fuck. Like, no, I didn't date you because I wanted to smoke weed with you. I dated you, and then I was like, oh, he smokes weed. Like, I might be able to get in finally, like, get into the the club, right? Okay, I wanted to smoke weed. So I came up from school, and finally I just asked him. I was like, yo, like, do you have any of your old weed stuff? Like, I kind of want to try to smoke, like, you know? And so eventually, like, we all start smoking, like me, my friends, and him. And I did kind of fast forward past like the very first time I ever smoked weed, because the very first time I ever actually smoked weed and not just edibles was not with him. But I didn't really start smoking and having my own supply and my own product until I like asked him to like introduce it to me. So he pulls out like all his old bongs, his pipes. He gives me a pipe. He gets me a grinder. He hits me up with like the drug dealer that he had in high school, which I think was still in high school at the time, and eventually like stopped to get like a real job once he graduated and stuff. But so I started smoking weed the summer of 2016, like on a consistent basis. And I feel like this has been such a long, like, this intro explaining my drug use, but that's definitely not the point of the story. Just some backstory so you kind of understand what I mean when I say that I was having I had a low tolerance, okay, back in the day. I had a very low tolerance. So 2016, I'm driving around, I'm taking a hit, and I'm like blazed, and I'm like pushing myself to finish one bowl out of a pipe, like a normal ass pipe, nothing special, not a water pipe, not a bong, I wasn't even rolling my own joints or even really smoking joints. I was smoking my pipe, and I could barely finish a fucking bowl. Okay, so for a while, I kind of kept it a secret from my friends. I didn't necessarily tell people I was going to be getting high before I went to go like hang out with them. But then occasionally, towards the end of the summer, I started actually like smoking with my friends and putting them onto it. Like, you know, I'm such a troublemaker. Oh, sorry, my neck fucking itches. Okay. So we're all smoking weed, okay? Most nights spent in the summer, we were at our friends' houses. Like, and all my friends I went to college with like some of my best friends who lived down the street from me. So we came home from college and it's like hung out. We were smoking, we were drinking, we were going to the park, we were walking around, we were hanging out with people we wouldn't normally have hung out with. And it was just like a really fun summer. Like summer 16 was super dope. The music was super dope. Like it was vibing. I was listening to like so many different types of music, because I had so many different kinds of friends who, some hated rap, some loved country, some liked dance music, some like only listened to underground shit, some were obsessed with all the Lil Uzi Vert and Yachty and Kodak, I think, like everyone, you know. So we're all hanging out. Most nights I would drive them all home. I'm a control freak, and I was like the only one with a car. So I was like, yeah, I'll drive you and I'll pick you up and I'll take you home and we'll go wherever the hell I want to go, and you want to go, and me and I wherever I want to go, and you know, whatever. So we go to Taco Bell, right? We eat, we do whatever, we go home, whatever. That's like how my summer went. So to the main part of the story. Here we go. It's summer 2016. Your girl just started smoking weed. I'm going home in my B-tour. Yeah, you know, whatever. So one night I come home right before curfew. I am high as fuck, I guess you would say. And, you know, I'm like, you know, shutting all my windows, closing my sunroof, and then like taking the key out, and then like busting out the house and like going to bed basically. So my car when I was 19 was basically like my closet. I was working a serving job, so I would change after work. So I had my work clothes in the car. I had like 20 pairs of shoes, a million different types of shirts and pants, and like my purse. Like my car was like a mess, but it was like my whole life was in there. I would have to go out to my car multiple times a day to like grab something. So I parked my car on my parents' driveway. I shut all the windows, right? I like do all the buttons, take the keys out, walk my ass in the house, and I go to sleep. So I go to sleep, right? I'll wake up, I do my thing, I hang out with my dog, I'll like eat or something, like whatever, and I need to go to my car, right? I usually have to go to my car in the morning for like a charger or something. And I'm trying to remember if this happened before or after. Before or after I went to my car, I can't remember. I want to say it happened after, just because right now it makes the most sense and I really just can't remember. So I walk out to my car and it just, I open the door and shit, and it like looks like destroyed. Like everything looks messy, right? So I open the door and there's like money everywhere. Like I said, I'm a server, so I left a lot of cash like laying around because I would have a lot of cash on hand. So yeah, I understand maybe it's not smart to leave money in the car, but I had like cash everywhere. They had taken the face of my radio, like the push-in radios. They took the face out, but not the like box, and then robbed me of like all the clothes that were in there. Like I had like Birkenstocks, like a couple other shoes, some other shit. Like I had a bunch of things that were in my car, whether it was clothing items, personal items, or like just they took parts of my car. Like I said, they took the radio. Like whoever robbed my car, like they fucking took everything. The only weird part was I was like, okay, but you guys like left like money. Like they left like all my money, like this spread out though. And then I realized like, oh, how did they get in here? And I'm just outside like looking at my car like alone, like figuring this shit out. So I realized that my sunroof's open, and I'm like, what? It's weird. Like I closed all my windows last night, but I was also like high as fuck. So maybe I was like, oh, maybe I didn't close my window. And I've left a window open before. Like I figured out, especially after that day, I think is when I was like, how the fuck do they keep getting like open or whatever? I sometimes at night won't wait for my sunroof to fully close, or I wouldn't wait for the window to go up, and I would take the key out, and that would stop all the electricity in the car, so therefore my sunroof would like still be open. So that's why my sunroof was left open, and I walk in the house and I'm like, what the fuck? And I've never ever been robbed before. Like this was the first time I had any sort of experience close to this, besides someone like stealing my license plate. Like I went to Kohl's once, parked at Kohl's, walked out, and my front license plate was gone. But that was like the only robbery I've ever had. Okay, so I'm like, okay, so my car just got robbed. I'm freaking out because my Birkenstocks are missing, and I wear those shoes every night after work to help the soles of my feet after wearing shoes all day. Like I would wear heels as a server because the restaurant I worked at, I didn't have to wear non-slips, which looking back was very unsafe. But my shoes are gone, my clothes are gone, my radio's gone, which was like, oh, this stupid hair is pissing me off. My radio was literally gone. Which, hello, how are you supposed to live without freaking music? And it's 2016, so you know the freaking music's amazing that year. And also, I drive my friends everywhere. Hello, entertainment. So I was like pressed. I was like, yo, someone robbed me. But it was weird because I was like, who's gonna rob me? Like, who comes into this neighborhood? Sorry. Who comes into my neighborhood, which was a pretty nice neighborhood. It was like a lot of older families and couples, and predominantly white, entirely white, maybe a Hispanic couple. And we just didn't have a lot of heavy crime at that time. Now, like in the present time, there's been a lot more like theft and break-ins. But back in the day, like I hadn't really heard of anything. Like we were chilling. So the first thing I thought of, I swear to God, I was like, so I walk up into my parents' bedroom, my mom's sitting there on her bed. I go, did you guys break into my car last night? And I straight up was like, yo, what'd you do? Was it you? And she goes, and my dad follows up, like, after. What? Were you robbed? Well, what happened? How did they get into your car? You know, I looked out there earlier this morning, and it did look like someone had, your car was all messed around with, but I just figured it was messy. Like, you just left it messy. Left it messy again. And I'm sitting there like this. So you didn't rob the car? No. I was like, okay, because my sunroof was open. So, oh, well, looks like you have to be more responsible and make sure you shut all your windows and lock your doors. And I was like, okay. Well, yeah, everything got robbed. What did they take? So I tell her, and my dad's like, oh my God, really? Oh my God. And then like I have to go to work later that day. Okay, so I'm just like annoyed that I got robbed and not have to go to the store and like buy new pens and like go to work without any freaking music, and then try to figure out how to get a new car stereo. Like I was like, how do you replace a car stereo? This is before I really spent any money on my car. Like I had just had it for hardly at all, because my mom took my car away like every 2 months in high school for some stupid reason or another. But besides the point, okay? Let me try to get this going. So I go to work later that day after my car has been stolen. My parents have said no. They said, I thought your car looked messy, thought someone might have been in there, but I wasn't really sure. We didn't do anything. That's so sad. Hopefully this teaches you a lesson on like, you know, being more responsible and making sure that you secure your belongings and not leaving your car to be a closet in a bedroom in a mess. I go to work. I tell my girl coworkers about my car being robbed. And the other girls were like, oh my God, like that's so crazy. And one of my coworkers is a girl who's known my mom and known me like a very long time. Like she's like kind of a family friend. Like our parents know each other. She goes, sounds like something your mom would do. And I looked at her and I was like, that's what I said. I was like, doesn't it sound like she freaking robbed me, bro? And so then me, the 3 other girls, we're over here going, there's no way, would she really do that to you? And I was like, my mom is crazy. I didn't think this crazy, but you know what? I was like, that's the first thing I thought of, was like, she had to have robbed my car. And I was like, I just got iffy vibes. And then one of my best friends literally goes, you sure it wasn't your mom? And I was like, no, I'm not sure it wasn't my mom. Actually, I don't know. But she said no, and everything's gone. And I don't know why, like, the fuck, like, it's gone. Like, I don't know, I thought. So, like, a couple days go by, like, nothing. My car got robbed. I'm out of a radio. My parents are like, that fucking sucks for you. So, me being a server, I make money every single time I work, like, in cash. So I can very easily not have to wait for my next payday and go buy myself a new radio ASAP. So I did. I bought myself a new radio. Who was mad? My parents. Why are you wasting your money on a new radio? You should be saving. Don't you have other things to pay for? At the time, no, I did. I had a car insurance and gas, okay? But I guess I was taking advantage of them paying my phone bill or me not having to pay rent or something, like whatever they put in their mind. So I was like, I need a new radio. My radio got stolen. If something gets stolen, you replace it. I'm not gonna like just go, oh, my car got robbed, now nothing's gonna get replaced. So I bought myself a new radio, and they were like, that's so stupid. And I was like, whatever, I need a new radio. I told you I was gonna go get one. And I'm on my way to go buy myself some Berks, and I'm like slowly going down the list, and I wish I remembered in detail everything that was stolen. But I started just slowly kind of like replacing everything that I had lost. And my parents are like low-key, like they're always complaining, like, you're wasting your money, you're not spending it correctly, like literally pocket watching. And you're just like, but you're a kid. So like I was like, I mean, yeah, I'm 19, but I'm literally still a kid. And I'm like, oh yeah, like I'm sorry, like I should be more responsible and like not buy Taco Bell. Sorry. I'm on vacation. First of all, I wasn't even, and I call it a vacation because I wasn't even making money in college. I was like to like spend. I was making it to barely like pay for books and like get by, and like that was the money I had. The only like abundance of money I would get would be like my refund from school, which happened like I think maybe once a term or something. So anyway, I was like, yo, I'm working, I'm making money, and I'm hanging out. Like, I'm being a kid, finally. That's how I felt. Because I was just like, I never got to be a kid in high school because I wasn't allowed to go do anything with anybody at all, in my opinion. So, I want to say a month or two goes by, and I've moved on from the whole, like, car getting robbed situation. I was like, great. Learning experience, right? Like, moving on. I'm getting ready to go like pick up one of my friends one day, and I'm like, I gotta go, bye guys. And my mom and dad are like this. No, we need to talk to you real quick. So I'm like, no, I gotta go, bro. And then, you know, like, not in a bad way, but like, basically I was like trying to be like, oh, can we talk later? Like, what's up? What you need? And they're like, no, you gotta go to the bedroom. So I go into their bedroom and they like tell me to sit on the bed. And then both my parents are there. My dad walks in right with a bag, with one of my old bags that got stolen. When I say bags, I mean like a big ass tote, like you could pack like a week's worth of clothes in there, like type of bag. Like I had a big bag in the car before it got stolen. I see him carry it in. I'm like this. Immediately I recognize it. Immediately I feel like I'm about to be fucked up, okay? The bag is full, by the way. It's like fat, it's not empty. He unzips the bag. Tell me why every fucking thing was in there that was stolen, bro. Tell me how they opened the bag, my freaking radio's in there, all my shoes, all my clothes, and I'm pretty sure I had other electronics, like maybe a hair straightener or something. Like, I don't even remember. I had CDs were in there. I think chargers were in there. Like anything, like bro, they stole all that shit out of my car and hid it from me. Watched me literally buy replacements for at least a month. I want to say 2, maybe a month and a half. We'll just be in the middle, a month and a half, okay? Literally stole all the shit from me, okay? And I'm sitting here going, are you freaking kidding me right now? I knew you guys stole from me. And they're just like, well, we wanted to teach you a lesson about, you know, protecting your belongings and not just being so, like, what's the word? So just like, they didn't say this word, but lackadaisical almost, like just like not caring about like how I would leave things in my car or how I would leave my car. Like whatever the lesson was in their own freaking words, they wanted to teach me a lesson. So they staged a robbery and then let me waste more of my money and gave me all the stuff back. And then they tell me on top of all of this, because so now I'm like, so y'all robbed me. How the hell did you guys even get in my car? Which, by the way, I'm pretty sure they had a spare key to my car. They probably could have just like opened the door. Like at any point they could have opened the door, unlocked it themselves, robbed me, and then been like, oh yeah, we robbed you. How did they rob my car? Well, of course we're gonna hit up your younger brother. You know, you're the brother who's 4 years younger than you. We just hit him up and told him to go climb into the sunroof of your car and rob it all. So you know, dad, mom, brother, we robbed your car to try to teach you a lesson. Did you learn it? By the way, here's your stuff back. There was no apology. Like, I paused. I was like, did they say sorry? No, they didn't say sorry because they're teaching me a lesson. They're doing me a favor. Returning my stuff and teaching me the lesson. That's doing me a favor. And I was so fucked up. And I was just like, honestly, bro, whatever. Like, this is stupid. And my mom tried comparing it to, like, me going into her bathroom and taking her cotton balls or, like, using, like, her makeup when I was younger or, like, using her products, basically, in her bathroom. And talking about how, like, taking things that aren't mine or whatever. And I was like, no, honey, I'm sorry. No matter how you freaking twist that in your mind, that would never make sense. It's not equal. It's not justified. Like, this was the craziest shit ever. But maybe I was just 19 and finally, like, catching on to, like, how crazy my mother actually was. And I'm sorry that my dad and my brother are just, like, victims to her freaking psychotic ass. Who thinks of this shit? Who robs their daughter to teach them a lesson, gives them their stuff back, like admits to it, gives them their stuff back? They probably only gave me my shit back because they were tired of watching me rebuy everything. Which still, you let me literally rebuy all this stuff to teach me what lesson? I'll tell you the lesson I learned. I learned that you're freaking crazy, mom and dad. And I think it's disgusting. I think it's so disgusting that, like, so these are my adoptive parents. How are you going to sit there and involve my brother who growing up is already struggling with the idea of like, oh, this is my adopted sister, not my real sister. Oh, you're just my cousin, you're not my actual sister. Like, that's how we grew up. Like, he struggled a lot with like that idea, and he would use the fact that I was adopted when we would fight like as a negative. So you're gonna involve him in this open, blatant disrespect, like, to teach me a lesson. I don't even think they fully realize like what they actually did and how entirely fucked up it is, and how anybody who ever hears the story is like, what the actual F? And that's how I am still. And I'll still bring it up to my parents, and they will still sit there and be like, you need to get over it. Like, you're so wrong. You don't even understand how horrible you were that summer. You were so angry around everybody. Like, yeah, I was angry, bro. I was like, I didn't want to go to college. I went to college for you. I came home from college, and my mom literally told me our relationship was better when I wasn't living there. Don't even get me started on her kicking me out. This is a couple months after she robbed me, but that story is for another day, okay? So let me wrap it up. It's basically it. She robbed me. I have not really forgiven it, probably because I cannot fully wrap my brain around why or what, or never gotten an apology. Like, I don't even know. But I do realize that it gets brought up by me when I'm angry and I'm talking to my friends about the struggles I have looking back on growing up with my family. And I just feel like it was the first time in like my young adult life where I just looked at my family differently, and I really started to understand and feel and like allow myself to be like, wow, like, I feel like an outsider. Like, I feel like an outcast. I feel like I am being treated differently than but my siblings who are blood to my adoptive mom, right? And I just felt a type of way about it, and from then on the relationship became extremely strained, and the respect I had for them went out the window, and no parent wants to be living with someone who's disrespecting them, right? So it's just like a big tumbleweed. Just a big, like, I don't even know, snowball. I'm gonna say snowball because I don't like tumbleweeds. Just a snowball of events that transpired in the summer of 2016 and this is just like the start of them. Just one of them. I'll tell more later, but where I really was just like severely fucked up, hurt, and then just kind of started to like see the bigger picture and be like, wow, I'm not okay with this. But growing up, you're not like, oh, I'm allowed to hate my parents, or, oh, like when you're talking with your friends, everyone's parents are crazy. Everyone's parents are too much, or not letting them be who they want to be, or whatever. But, you know, you start to compare stories, you start to hang around other people's families, and you just notice that dynamic is off with you and your family. And it's something I'm still coming to terms with and like trying to understand and like also overcome and move past. But I'm also like, oh, but they're my family, right? Like, I have to keep trying. But I think I'm getting to the point where I just need to stop trying to work with them and just, you know, focus on myself and heal before I can go back. Because right now I still get upset with them because I know that if we really got into anything, we don't see things the same way. And, you know, in their eyes, I don't know the right word. In their eyes, I do nothing but play victim. And they're the ones who are actually the victim and suffering. And I am forever to owe them gratitude and respect and just idolization for the fact that they adopted me and saved me from a situation that they felt I wasn't deserving of. So yeah, that was a lot at the end, but that is the story of my parents robbing me, staging a robbery. Like, wow. Love it. Anyway, I hope that was like easy to, you know, understand and like follow along. Thank you for listening if you did, and I will be back soon enough.